You hit the 90-minute mark. Your coffee has gone cold, your back aches, and there is a silent scream in the back of your head telling you to put the phone down. But your thumb keeps flicking. Your logic, your aspirations, and your identity all live in your frontal cortex. But the feed you're scrolling isn't talking to that part of your brain. It is targeting your primordial hardware. This ancient part of your brain is built for survival, constantly on the lookout for novelty and threat. Modern algorithms feed this instinct with a relentless stream of microshocks, locking you in a state of cognitive arrest where your own agency is completely bypassed. In his essay, The Fractal Escape, From Doom Scrolling to Zoom Scrolling, J. Paul Duplantis, the architect of the iDIG protocol, diagnoses exactly how we get trapped in this digital tractor beam. He points out that the real trap lies in the shape of the data itself. Standard computing treats information as a flat list, a linear silo that pushes content at you in a straight line, leaving you no choice but to follow the noise. Escaping the noise of modern algorithms requires altering the underlying geometry of how information is organized. The iDIG protocol visualizes information as vectors within a Hilbert space, a multidimensional geometric realm where every piece of data has a specific direction and relationship. Zoom scrolling follows these vectors, guided by emotional resonance and narrative texture, allowing an observer to navigate a story's geometry. Think about how a standard movie algorithm works. If you watch a political thriller about a lone maverick, the system assumes you like the action genre and feeds you a dozen more movies with explosions and car chases. The iDIG protocol uses an LLM to read the deep narrative prose of Wikipedia synopses, breaking down a plot into relatable emotional vectors. It isolates the specific underlying texture of the journey, like the feeling of principled defiance against corrupt odds. By following that specific vector of defiance, the system identifies the same texture in seemingly unrelated content. It can lead you away from explosions and toward a quiet indie drama that shares that exact emotional fractal of unyielding integrity. By letting you navigate the texture of a story instead of its genre, Zoom scrolling allows you to explore the depth of the human spirit until your curiosity is genuinely satisfied, rather than leaving you distracted and drained. This texture-based navigation scales up to high-stakes environments like social work. Today, a social worker is often buried under a flat, fragmented list of police reports, dense medical records, and housing histories. Imagine a first responder arriving at an overdose involving a former star athlete. To a reactive database, this incident is recorded as a single, flat data point of failure. The iDIG protocol uses LLM enrichment to parse the athlete's narrative history, much like it parses a movie plot. By analyzing the prose of their life's records, the system identifies the vector of latent discipline. This is the same drive used for peak performance, now hidden beneath the noise of addiction. By mapping out the shared geometry between the practitioner's mission and the patient's underlying strength, they can pinpoint exactly where a specific resource meets a specific need. A cold case file becomes a targeted, resonant human connection. We see this same reactive pattern in civic life. Our political news is delivered through a fire hose of breaking headlines and 30-second soundbites, engineered specifically to trigger our primordial alarm systems. The iDIG protocol can filter this out. By using an LLM to process the overwhelming noise of a campaign trail, it translates static headlines into a navigable map of a candidate's history. It surfaces contextual vectors, isolating specific traits like long-term consistency or principled evolution. This creates a direct bridge between your own internal compass, say your value for community resilience, and a politician's actual legislative record. Translating all that political static into relatable geometric vectors gives voters a clear, direct path through the noise. We shift from passive, exhausted consumers into proactive citizens who can actually evaluate the human signal behind the podium. But there is a catch to mapping the human experience. In both quantum theory and the iDIG protocol, geometric resonance requires a delicate exchange. Without a foundation of radical trust, the signal collapses back into noise. To protect vulnerable populations, the vectors of a person's life remain strictly private, locked in their own secure geometric space. The system only connects shared vectors between an observer and subject once the user explicitly grants granular permission to share their resonance. This establishes a completely different power dynamic. Zoom scrolling permanently takes the algorithmic paintbrush away from the platform and hands it directly to the observer. Duplantis considers this an open call to other engineers and thinkers, what he calls resonant builders. By stepping away from systems designed to exploit our reactive instincts, we can construct digital architectures built for proactive discovery and deep human connection.